Hi there. You've reached the module on analytical philosophy. This is still within the realm of epistemology, but it's very, very contemporary, up to date. This is what most philosophers do in philosophy departments these days. And it's very specialized, very technical, and tends to ignore the application, anything applied or anything to do with the world in which we live. So there are very few political discussions, and if ethics is done, it's done in a meta-ethical way. Now, with this, we're not rubbishing analytical philosophy. It's very interesting, and it might even be useful. You never know. But the case is here, it is abstract. We're asking questions which might not have any basic use in the big wide world. So with analytical philosophy, we're asking questions about particular words. What do words mean? I use a word on a daily basis, but does it have any meaning? So I might say here the word good. Okay, people use that all the time. The other day, somebody told me that a marker, is a coloured marker, I think a yellow marker, was good. She said it's a good marker. Now, to me, that meant that this marker was well behaved and it voted in elections and all that type of stuff. That's my idea of good. But I don't think the students were meant that at all. They just meant that the marker worked. It was a functional marker. Now, straight away, we've got one word which means different things. So in that sense, we've got to be careful about these words. Even if we do use it in its moral sense, I've got no guarantee that my view of the word good is going to be the same as anybody else. So good to me could mean I don't know, something like, again, back to the person being of good temper, of good moral upstanding. But to another person, that might not be the case. So this word just doesn't mean the same thing to different people. So with that, with the understanding of ordinary language and the analysis of different words, we then come up with problems, and we recognize these problems. Wittgenstein was one particular person who considered the thing called language games and how language is used. And in that sense, when somebody has one language, it might be different than somebody else's language. And we're not just talking about here one language from one country to the next. We are talking about language from, say, high school to university. Now, you might have been told by some people that high school and university are very different from each other. We would go as far as to say they're very different and they have different languages. If you transferred your high school language into high school, you might be having problems right now. Here it's a different language, it's a different way of doing things. So in that respect, therefore, we have a different understanding. And your teachers at university may have totally different views on education than had by your high school teachers, and therefore something's up here. You might not ever get used to the university situation, even though you're going to get your degree and all that stuff. Still, what on earth were these university teachers up to? You know, they didn't care about us, didn't want to know us, and all that type of stuff. It's simply there's a different language here, and it's not the case that they don't care or they don't want to know you. It's just a different viewpoint in that respect. So in that sense, language games are a property of analytical philosophy. It's dealing with language and analyzing the purpose, the use, the meaning of words, the meaning of a particular language, and how it could be received by one person and delivered by another. So all very, very complex and likely to cause lots of confusion if we don't understand these particular things. So in that respect, therefore, Wittgenstein was a good one for understanding this. I think you got one of the videos which shows him giving a lecture from the film made about him, and he asks what was it like for a tiger to if a tiger could talk, would it make any sense to us? Now, in that respect, the student in the deck chair asks, well, maybe we should get an interpreter. Again, Wittgenstein says, what use would an interpreter do? It's the case here. I think in one way and use a language in a particular way for that way I think. So in that respect, even though I could hear the words used by the tiger and they're the words I understand, it doesn't mean to say that I'll understand the tiger, because the tiger has a different world than the world I have. Now this provides us with problems as far as language once again. If I'm talking to somebody out there who's, say, from Oregon, I'd say I'm not used to Oregon people, and they're talking away, it could be the case, I think I understand what they're talking about, but really they're using these words to reflect a different lifestyle, a different understanding of the world than I'm used to here in Idaho. So it might be the case I just do not understand this person from Oregon, never mind California or places like that. We're just talking about a nearby state. So we've got problems with language, and that's one of the fields of analytical philosophy. That's what they deal with. So it sounds strange, but that's how they consider things in analytical philosophy. So hopefully that brief discussion went into some detail about this, and hopefully the analytical turn here is of interest. Don't worry about knowing it too much. You're not going to have to deal with it in an exam or anything. Just that you've done it. You've done some work on it, homework, bit of a discussion here. And then you'll never have to do it again unless you really, really want to. And courses are out there in analytical philosophy for you to do. So, okay, so with that in mind, hopefully this made sense, and speak to you within the journals and everything. Ask me questions, even about this one. Make sure it's direct question to me, not just a general philosophical question, which I don't reply to because they're just questions. But if you wish to ask anything about analytical philosophy, say my name, whichever one you want to use, doctor, professor, first name, anything, and say I have a question. Just make it crystal clear this is directed to me. And you can do that in the journal entry. Okay, right, so speak to you soon then. Bye for now.